All right, thank you for joining me on my podcast, Profit with a Plan. This is where you can get some great information to help your business, your small business, make great financial decisions. I am Marcia Reiner. I'm a certified financial planner, financial business strategist, and I've been helping small business owners make great financial decisions using my unique strategies along the way to help them grow income and spend strategically. So today we're talking with my good friend Andrew Lopez. Andrew Lopez is with Elevated Shorts, which is a video production company, and not close, video production. So welcome, Andrew.
Yeah, Marcia, thank you so much for having me on the show. I love doing stuff like this, and I'm excited to be here.
Good, thank you. So as you know, I work with small business owners, and most of my listeners are small business owners. So when we spoke the other day, you had come up with some great conversation about your journey, particularly on how you came into Elevated Shorts. Would you mind sharing a little bit about that with us?
Of course, yeah. So, a little bit about me. Journalism major. I went to school out of state. I wanted to get away for a couple years. I went out to Boise, Idaho, the great Boise State University.
Okay.
The California kid, kind of leaving, getting the hell out, saying,
That's kind of a reverse thing, right? Aren't they usually coming out to California?
I wanted to challenge myself. I wanted to say, you know what, this is my home. I love it. I appreciate it. But I want to see what else is out there. But I went with like a start and a stop. Like I knew wherever I was going to school, I'm going to come back home. This is my home, Southern California. So I chose Boise, Idaho. Out of the 5 schools, I applied to both Arizona schools. I applied to Ole Miss. I applied to UNLV. And out of the 5, with Boise being the 5th, I chose Boise, Idaho.
Okay.
And I was all about sports journalism. I wanted to be on ESPN. I used to follow around the golfers and the football players, and I used to ask questions writing for the newspaper. And I tried to bring like a more personal, humanized, as I say, angle to it. Not just very black and white, hey, this is what happened in the game. It's more, how did you feel about, what happened on the 8th hole, or how did you feel about that touchdown run? Just simple stuff to try and humanize it a little bit. So, coming back home and being in Idaho where there's no In-N-Out Burger and there's no beach and there's actually 4 seasons, I was coming back with kind of, all right, journalism is the way to go. It's what I want to do. Well, when I came home, it was one of those things where I didn't actually get into journalism. I got into IT. My dad was kind of like, hey, IT is the way to go, and technology is where the world's going. So
you need money.
You need money. I didn't want to sit at the time at 22 years old. I don't want to sit and kind of just be in my boxers, writing blogs. It's fun and it's great, but it doesn't pay off your student loans and pay for your car payments. So
of course not. I
got into the world of technology, and I was there for up until recently. But kind of what got me to Elevated Shorts is I was trying to find a way to connect with business owners. Being in IT, and I worked for a small IT company here in town, and I was the one sales and marketing person. And it's one of those things where you wear a lot of hats. And this was an established company, a small company. The 2 guys that owned it, ran it very well, and they did a really good thing. They didn't have anybody to do the sales, account management. So when I got there, I kind of helped with that process. But what's hard is, even though they were a great company, I wasn't very passionate about IT. I've always been told in the past, like, Andrew, you're an evangelist. You're somebody who can help talk about something and help bring the goodness out. Conversation. And I was always about the relationship. So I had this idea back in May of 2018 where I would interview business owners, and that was the birth of Partner Channel OC, the show that I still have now to this day. And Partner Channel OC was a way for me to connect with business owners. It was a way for me, you're cold calling, you're passing out cards, you're going to networking events. But it was an extra step to kind of say, this is my journalism skill. I wanted kind of chasing a passion, but giving business owners a platform. So if you go on LinkedIn or if you go on my website, partnerchannelOC.com, you'll see that I've interviewed almost over 70 people in a year and a half.
Which is pretty good.
Which is impressive.
That's a lot of numbers.
I took a short break, at the beginning of the year because we had some other projects going on. But basically, it's one of those things where I get so much enjoyment out of talking to business owners. And the biggest thing for me is that it all comes down to the why. I ask 3 simple questions on the show, and as people who might have seen the show, or I've pivoted a little bit, but basically it's always, what is your business? Why did you start it? Like a point A, point B question. The second thing is what matters most in your business. And the third thing is a play on the name, Partner Channel OC, a channel about partnership in Orange County. And I've had guests in San Diego now and guests in LA, but basically it's that final question everyone tunes in because how do you value partnership in your business?
Nice.
So it was a way, and what's funny is the guys at the IT company were like, hey, the first couple people I interviewed turned into the business for them. So they're kind of like, you came up with this business development tool that was kind of, it's a little different, a little quirky, but at the same time, like, you're meeting people and you're building relationships.
And isn't that what it's all about? People don't buy business because they saw an ad or they go to Groupon, unless they're looking for something. But when they really truly buy business, it's because they got to know you. They met you. There was a relationship established.
Absolutely.
And creating that partnership with the business owner, I think it's the way to go. And I think it's a wonderful tool that you use to help highlight and bring people out to talk about their business and why they did it, why they changed in. And that's where we got into this conversation.
Absolutely.
Was why you came into this from tech. So it's amazing. So continue. So
no, basically it was just, you said it right. It's the value of partnership, it's the value of relationship, and that's the story that I'm telling. It's basically, you're a business owner, you've been a business owner for a while. You might meet people on a plane, or you might meet people, anywhere, at the mall or at an event you go to. And you might say, Marcia, what do you do? And you say, I'm a financial planner. I work in the finance industry. But most people aren't just say, why did you decide to do your own thing?
They don't ask that.
And that's the question that I always wanted to ask is, if we were shooting a Partner Channel episode, I would say, Marcia, what is your business and why did you start it? Because there's always a story to the why. And that is what I'm most fascinated with. There's a quote that, my great-grandfather always said, it was, in order to be interesting, you must first be interested.
Oh my gosh, that is so amazing. Yes, it's so
I've
true.
Always clung to that, and it's kind of one of those things where that was Partner Channel OC, is I'm interested in what the why is, or why people value what they do. And it's caused me in the reverse to become interesting as a host and to have people on the show. But that's what it comes down to. And then to go into elevated shorts, which is something that I started beginning of September. So we're pretty new, but we're excited. And it's basically, I got asked a lot. Even though I was working for a couple of technology companies, it was basically like, Andrew, do you do anything else with video? I kind of was like, yeah, I can. So I just thought to myself, a couple months ago, I had that, 27-year-old kind of like, okay, what am I going to do with my life? Here I am trying to figure some things out. Do I chase journalism? Do I continue and stay where I'm comfortable? And I decided to take the jump. I took the leap. I'm in the free fall mode, and it's scary, but it's the greatest feeling. I don't ride roller coasters. I'm not a fan of roller coasters. If we go to Disneyland, I'm going to sit at the bar, or I'm going to go to the restaurants and watch ESPN on the TV. There's no point to take me to a theme park because I'm not going to ride anything.
Okay.
But the funny thing is I'm on a roller coaster with this business, and I'm having the time of my life. So what does that say?
I think the step and the leap that you took to go out on your own at a young age, you're flexible, and you have the time and you don't have the commitments that you can get in there. But a lot of business owners go through that time where they have to be stretchy. They have to step out of their comfort zone. Like you said, you're so far out of your comfort zone right now. It's something that you enjoy and you have that skill set, but you're out of your comfort zone doing the stretchy stuff because it's scary. And that's where the success comes from. It truly comes from being able to stretch yourself and do something that you haven't done before and grow. And that's what we all have to face in businesses. So I'm very proud of you that you took that challenge, and you are in a beautiful place at being 27 to do that because you have no family or kids at the moment, or wife and kids.
Exactly.
So.
And it's one of those things too where it's taking elevated shorts, it's extending beyond Partner Channel OC. So basically the premise of elevated shorts is I help small businesses elevate their presence virtually. So I call myself now, since I'm new and I'm excited to help as many people as I can locally, it's the businesses that are looking to get into video.
Right.
It's kind of that, hey, I have some ideas around video, I want to get into it. So with the elevated shorts, it's kind of, we make short brand videos, we make short 60 to 90 second social media videos that can go on LinkedIn, that can go on your Instagram, that can go on Facebook. And it's kind of just that I call it the influencer content. It's kind of that Gary Vee model, if you will, where it's like you can be the expert as the business owner, being a 20 or 25-year veteran in a field, but it's a give to receive. You can say, hey, here's my financial tips for the day, but at the end you have your email. If you have any further questions, please reach out to me.
Hit me
So
up.
you're giving a little bit to get back and to it's kind of, Partner Channel OC was always my gift to Orange County. I hadn't ever charged for it. It was kind of my way, as I said in the beginning, to build a relationship with somebody, say, here's a story that we're going to share, and we're going to put it out there. But what's funny is the process. It's not even just the 3 questions, the video that's edited and that's put out there. It's when I get there, hey, Andrew, I'm nervous. I've had people say, hey, can we push this back a couple weeks because it's nothing against you. It's nothing, I just need to figure out why I started my business. You've made me think of that question for the first time in 20 years or 10 years or 15 years. And that is where I saw the value. Whether it's a free show or whether it's, a 27-year-old kid showing up to your office and asking you 3 questions and not taking too much time, the value is in I refound my why. And I refound what I wanted to do. So Elevated Shorts just extends that a little further.
I love it. First of all, we have to know why we're doing this. We have to have our motivation and our understanding. It's part of the foundation when you're building a business and you're talking to any kind of coach. They're going to make you go in, what's your morals, what's your values, what's your why. People don't go through that when they should. But that is the basis for every piece of marketing that you go out and do. Why are you doing this? Why are you helping these people? What's the direction you're heading? So that's an essential piece. And for you to be able to go into somebody and have them really reach into themselves and dig that out, that's amazing. And then the second thing that's just killing me, and the big aha, is that so many people are turning to video these days. And they have the sound, they're hypertasking, so the podcasts are very popular today, so people can listen and educate themselves and create positive thinking by listening to something. But there's so many people today that would rather just watch something quickly. And you can connect so much more when they see and feel you and hear your voice. This video is the future. And I think it's so essential for marketing. But what you've done is you've started out with the why so that the marketing can be more impactful now and using the tools of video. So I love that. And that's why this conversation was so intriguing for me to help my small business owners and the people that are listening to understand the true value of video. And you just laid it out there for us. That's beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah, it's one of those things where it's, I bring the millennial mindset into it in the sense that the attention spans are so much shorter. When it comes to scrolling through LinkedIn, and when it comes to, we cram so many things into our days. Whether you've been in business for 20 years or whether you're just starting out as a young entrepreneur, there's so many things in a given day, and it bleeds into the evenings, and sometimes it bleeds into the 2 a.m.s and on a Wednesday, but it's all good. But what I'm getting at is, I ask the same questions on Partner Channel SE that I ask in the brand videos that I create, because it's the same thing. Elevated Shorts, I remove myself as the host, and I simply just say, what is your business? Why'd you start it? I get the similar sound bites because it's telling the same story. One of my favorite singer-songwriters, he used to be in a band called A Rocket to the Moon, and his name is Nick Santino, and he has a song, it's one of my favorite songs, it's called The Story You Should Tell. And the chorus simply is, if you're happy with yourself, then all the rest should go to hell. Hey brother, that's the story you should tell.
Nice.
And that's one of those things where it's like, it's about the story, and it's about the why, and it's about, I did this because. Every business owner has that reason. It's not just like, oh, I got bored and I'm just going to start this company and I don't even know the industry. Like,
or
there's
it's money,
always,
money.
Yes, at the end of the day, bills need to be paid.
Right.
But you're helping other people.
Yes.
And it's why you do it and what matters most in the business. And I'm waiting for someone to say on the show, what matters most? Oh, the fact that we get paid at the end of the month. Everyone deep down inside is probably going to say, yeah, that makes sense. But what matters most? It's always the client. It's always the relationship. It's always the value on themselves outward.
But I think if we turn that around, though, I think it's not always the client and the relationship. That's the tool to get the client satisfaction out of it. There's something deeper in each of us as to why. Listen to your story. Why did you go into video? Why am I in money? I went back and I looked at, my daughter was having some challenge. This was a long time ago. And we were trying to coach her and to make good decisions. And she was in high school. And she's like, well, I'm just going to make money, or I'm just going to go do this. And we're like, okay, no, you're not. What is it that you're doing that's going to get that money? Because you have to get up every morning for the rest of your life at 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. or 5 a.m. and go to work. And if you're miserable every day, then you're not gonna be happy, you're not gonna make money, you're not gonna make your clients happy, nothing's gonna do it. You have to know what it is that drives you. You have to know the why. And that's the question you're pulling out of people is really, why are you doing it? It's not the end game. Oh, I wanna help my clients do this. No, I do what I do because I watched my parents. My father owned a car business. He had no financial wherewithal at all. He would look at his banking account each day and go, yeah, I got some money. People took advantage of him. He made good deals, but he was always behind the 8 ball. And he ran his business for 30 some odd years. And when he closed it, he had nothing left. He lived a good lifestyle, but he had nothing left. I learned valuable lessons in that. My mother owned a business. She was a mortgage broker. And in the early age of mortgage brokering, she did so well. She had a business running. She ended up expanding her business to, I think, 8 or 9 locations. She did this thing called offsite processing. Big banks like Washington Mutual came to her and said, how are you doing this? She did so well, but she sold one product in 2008 hit. She lasted a couple more years after that, but she lost her business. She made good money. She saved good money, opposite of my father. But that's the lesson that I learned. And as I came into business and I started doing things, I started seeing the mistakes people were making. And it made me mad because I made those mistakes. And when I figured out how to fix them, I thought, I got to share this. But my story and my why is that I'm not going to be like my mom. I'm not going to be like my dad. I'm not going to be like those other people. I'm going to do it this way. And I found my tools and now I'm sharing it. So we have a why. That drives us. It's not the clients. I mean, it is. It's not the clients. It's not the do good and I'm going to save the world. It's usually something that happened to us. And I think that's really what drives you and gets you up, is that I'm not going to let that happen to me. And I think that's the real value. And when you can say that and you can express that to your clients are going to go, oh, I get why she's doing it and she's experienced that. So now I want to not experience that too. Make sense?
It makes perfect sense. It's one of those things where passion and intensity can be a really complicated fusion, but they go so well together. And I've told you this in the past, and this is something I've been a lot more open about, just being a new business owner and being a new business owner and also being young and adapting and learning and all that. I've had so much more in the past, whether that comes with salary and benefits and structure. I had so much more in the past, but when I look at myself now to this day, with what I'll say so much less because you're starting out, I feel so much better about having less now because I'm so much more passionate and I'm so much more into what I'm doing.
You're flexible and you can couch hop if you needed to as you're building your business. Whereas someone who had a family and children and obligations, they can't necessarily couch hop. And they can't take that passion and the piece that they would really love to do for the rest of their life. You know, they can't take that leap. There's too many fears and obligations in the way. You're lucky.
Absolutely.
You're very lucky. And you're smart.
And I try and transcend that for even generations above me. I have always kind of joked, I want to be the millennial that even the baby boomers like. You know, it's one of those things
we like
where...
you, don't worry.
Absolutely. You know, I've understood that. But for me, it's extending that mindset out. It's like another funny phrase that I like to say is, you know, I've never been to Chicago, but I don't have to be from Chicago to love John Hughes movies.
Okay.
Because I understand, even never being there, through Ferris Bueller and through 16 Candles and through Breakfast Club, all take place in Chicago. And I have a good idea of what the Chicago suburbs are through those experiences, but I've never been to Chicago.
Okay.
But it goes back to that being interested to be interesting type of thing.
Right.
So I'm interested in your business and what you do, even though I don't know much about it. I'm interested in the lawyers and the doctors and all these other people I'm aiming to work with. I'm interested in what they do, but I don't have all the tools, and I'm not the expert, but I'm fascinated, and I want to help get that story out to everyone else like me who is just as interested and who is just as fascinated without having that skill.
So let's take a next step on videos and having that conversation. When you're building this relationship with the client and you're preparing the videos that you're doing for your clients, how do you foresee that they're going to utilize that? How are they going to use that? In their branding? In their marketing? Can it be repetitive? Can it be something that just maybe it's on their website? Where would you think that they would use these videos that you're creating, these elevated shorts?
All of the above, but mainly, so I'll break down the intro package that we do. So we make a 2 to 3 minute, depending on the business and depending on the style, but basically we make a 2 to 3 minute video as a brand video. Then after that brand video, you get 4 shorts. And I call a short anything between 60 and 90 seconds.
Okay.
So one of those shorts, what I do is I condense the brand video. We condense it down to a 60 seconds. So the brand video can go on the About Me page, or it can go on the home page of a website. The 60-second short can be something that you can throw on LinkedIn.
Okay.
Is a little bit about us.
Right.
Or it can be something that can be on the About Me page as well, or it could be somewhere else, but I call that the short more the social media video.
Okay.
It's something that would go out, so it's shorter than, even though 2 minutes and 30 seconds can be seen as short, but with the attention span, as I said earlier, of the scrolling, and 60 to 90 seconds is a little bit more digestible. Another one that I do can be up to 30 seconds, but I call it the elevator pitch.
Okay.
So you would say, I would say, if I'm doing the elevator pitch for myself, hi, I'm Andrew Lopez. I'm the owner-operator of Elevated Shorts. I help businesses elevate their presence online through social media videos and brand videos. Please let me know how I can be of value to you. My email is, my phone number is, please connect with me if you have any video needs. And it's like a 15-second head-on shot, just kind of like, and that could be something that goes in the email signature. Meet me. When you send out prospective emails or you send out marketing emails, it's a meet me. There's Andrew for 15, 20 seconds. There's the logo in the corner. There's his email. Hey, this is great. Let's reach out. That's part of the package. And
it gives that personal connection or that touch, like you're sitting across the table or you met them at a live event. But you're not. You're still in the digital world. You're still in the social world.
Exactly.
Where social is non-social. Social is on your phone or on your laptop, but rarely in face-to-face anymore. So this gives you that personal connection with it. I love it.
Yep. It's a good way to introduce yourself in a very short period of time. And it's very, as you said, it's very interactive. It's very heads-on. It's a straight shot, talking to the camera, talking to the audience. The other two are what I call dealer's choice, but it's basically
dealer's choice.
Couple other videos where I call it the influencer content. So for you, it would be, you can give a couple tips. It could be video of you meeting with a client. It could be a video of you, just walking through the club. But there's a voiceover to it. I do what I do because the people that I help, it's more than just the dollar. It's more than just the transaction. It's where they want to go with their money. If you say something like that, and you're kind of showing that through the video, it's very powerful. Yeah. Even though you're not looking at the camera directly.
It's a commercial of sort.
It's a mini commercial or a teaser, if you will.
Nice.
So that's kind of the entry level package that I have, and I call it the intro because from there you can continue on. So then after that, I would have what I call like the social model, which is I can meet with you, once a month, and we can shoot 4 shorts. In a couple hours, and that can be you can post out every Monday or every Tuesday or whatever day of your choice.
Right.
Similar,
but it gives you something to continue that engagement, kind of like a drip marketing or a mail campaign or emails that come out. But it's connecting.
Yes.
It's connectable. I think it's so much more value when it's your voice and you're telling your story, that you're going to have that deeper connection. Whether you're a chiropractor or a dentist, or whether you're a consultant, or you're running some sort of other business, I think that's the value that people want these days. And I think it's so important to have as your mix in your marketing those pieces. Because if you're sending out emails and there's no personal connection, they're going to delete it. I have 1,280 emails this morning sitting in my in-mail box that I can't get through. So if there's something really important in there, I'm trying to scroll through it. But if I don't know you and you're sending me an email, I'm certainly not going to look at it because it's too fast. But if there was a video or some sort of connection, or I started to feel like I know you, we feel like we know the newscasters on TV because even though they're not talking to me directly, they're showing me their personality, they're carrying on, they're sharing their stories, they're giving me little things. I feel like I know that person, so then I'm more connected with them.
It's that familiarity. I think that's
the video that's necessary.
Yes, that's That's basically, what my vision is with Elevated Shorts. Is extending partner channel OC, and it's giving it back to the business. This is what we do. So it could be a monthly newsletter, as you said. It could be, hey, every Monday I have a newsletter that comes out, and there's a video of you for 90 seconds. Hey, this is the weekly tip. If you have any other further questions, or if you have any customers or clients or people in your network that are looking to these same questions, send them my way.
If you're
it
curious.
builds your pipeline. So as I said, you're giving a little bit. You're giving some information.
Right.
You're helping people. But then it all comes back.
Right.
You know what? Marcia had some good points in those emails. I've been keeping track. I actually, I have some money set aside. I want to do this. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to reach out to you. Hey, I feel comfortable with you. I've seen. It's not I would feel comfortable with you or feel comfortable because they're the expert. Mm-hmm. It's not that expert complex where it's like, hey, I know everything. I've done this for 30 years. I'm that expert. Call me. It's how you package it. It's how you say, hey, these are some things that, hey, millennials out there, you struggle with this. It's not talking at, it's talking with. Mm-hmm. Kind of that thing even through video. Nice. So that's what I try and guide with my clients and customers that are with me is I take the same as I'm sitting next to them on the camera, but I stand behind the camera and I say this.
Talk to me.
Talk to me. Tell me what this is. Tell me what you want to give, this and that. And it's just capturing that moment in time.
Love it.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you help people, like you mentioned early on, mm-hmm. that push you out for weeks because they're so uncomfortable with the camera? Mm-hmm. I remember my first videos. They were horrible. So I sat there and I recorded them over and over and over and over because I didn't like the way I sounded or I didn't like the way I looked. And then when I finally posted my final project, I had people come up to me and go, who is that? That is totally not you and your personality. So I've been able to use a friend of mine's line, Dare to Suck. Just mm-hmm. get it out there. You have to do it. And the more they see your personality and you being natural, then the better off they're going to connect with you. But how do you get your clients and the people in front of the video to calm down and be themselves and not sit there and go, oh, hi, I'm Marcia Reiner. Mm-hmm. And it was so funny when I did it. It was horrible. Mm-hmm. But how do you get them comfortable so they can bring out their personality?
I think it's just kind of, being in front of a camera can be weird. If
totally
you look
awkward.
at my first episode of Partner Channel OC in May of 2018, I had just turned 26 and I was a scared shitless little kid. I was just like, oh my gosh, thank you Gina Leslie, who was my first guest. She was awesome, but we both were nervous.
Right.
I'm pushing play and I'm kind of just like, okay, let's go see what happens.
The heart rate's going.
Yeah, it's just, we did it in one take, but it was kind of just like, you can see I asked the same 3 questions as I do to this day.
Good point.
But it was a lot more just like, hey, what's your business and why'd you start it? It wasn't as free flowing. I wasn't as lax. Natural. It wasn't natural. It's still me and it's still Gina, but you can tell there's a reservation mm-hmm. of not fully answering. So you look at those early episodes and it's still me. I try and still have the same type of, I try and be the same host as I joke, I'm just the Chris Harrison or I'm just the Ryan Seacrest. I'm just there to help guide.
Right.
But even from behind the camera with Elevated Shorts, it's that same thing. Hey, this is simple. I've always said that if it's too structured or if it's too rigid, it's not genuine.
Right.
Be authentic.
Right.
And going off what you said about Dare to Suck, there was some place I saw on LinkedIn, I apologize for not knowing the guy's name, but he's an influencer locally, and he said, it's okay to start ugly.
Yes.
You're going to start ugly. Your first videos are not going to be great.
It was.
Your 10th video is not going to be great. Hell, your 100th video might not even be that good. But the fact that you're out there, you're doing it, and it's what I say. When people say what I do, I jokingly say that I literally just push play. Mm-hmm. I am a chief push play officer.
Yes,
is what
I love
want
that.
My title to say, because
yes.
I'm literally just pushing play and letting it happen. Yes, there's editing involved and there's color correction and, there's a process to it, but deep down, it's simply just sharing. What are you going to say to a customer? What are you going to say to, if you're a speaker at a meeting, what are you going to say to your mother? Bruce Braveroff, who's a member here.
Yes,
he
love
was
him.
on my show
love
recently,
him.
and he told me something so valuable on Wednesday. He's like, Andrew, I find so much value out of your show mm-hmm. because he's like, my sister, my stepsister, she's been in my life for 25 years. I've been doing what I'm doing for 25 years. Mm-hmm. But when she watched the interview with you and me, she understood what I did. And he's like, right there, even my own family member
Had no clue.
had no full clue of what I do and how I explained it, but you, by the way that you asked the questions and the comfort of being on the show with you, I'm able to share that message. So if my sister, who didn't know, understands, everyone else can understand what I do. And he's like, that's the value. And it kind of just, it set me back. I was like, wow. Like I hadn't heard that testimonial yet.
Right.
The testimonial that I've got in the past was just, hey, which is still valuable, you're making me think of what my why is.
Right.
I need to take my 5-page mission statement, condense it down to 2 pages, but then condense it down to 1 page, then condense it to 250 words.
Small paragraph.
A small paragraph. And that's what it was. And I've gotten people off camera saying, Andrew, it's you helped me do that.
Wow.
I can move forward now, even with 20 years of experience, 20 years of expertise, 20 years of business in a profitable company. I can move forward now with knowing my why is more defined. And to me as a 27-year-old, to help people like that, whether it's Elevated Shorts, whether it's Partner Channel OC, that is where I get the most value. You can't replace that.
No.
No transaction, no dollar amount can replace that. And that is why I do what I do.
Love
with both things. It's one of the greatest things to, as I said, I'm passionate about it. I love what I do. I nerd out. If I'm here shooting a video, I get so into it, and I pretend like I've done it my whole life. I've always tinkered with stuff growing up, being a journalism major, but this never was a full-time thing. And here I am figuring it all out, but also just my passion extends out, and I'm hoping that the passion and the energy
I promise you it will, because you're in the right industry at the right time, and it's coming from your heart, and you've got the skill set behind you. It can't fail because it's so needed. All of my listeners need to have videos that tell and connect, because the words no longer do it. It has to come visually because of the short time and the short attention span that people have. They need to go. Everybody's going through and they're looking at videos and they're watching video. We have to have it. So this is an essential part. I can't see that you can fail unless you just go off the deep end and do something else.
Yeah.
Right? So please don't go off the deep end and do something else. Please help our community of small business owners grow their business and connect with the people that really want to use them. And I think that's where your value is.
Yeah, I appreciate that. It's one of those things where I am just trying to help. It could take 5 years to get somewhere. It could take 10 years. It doesn't matter. I used to be so focused on the future. That's something that was passed down from my father. Always look 5 years ahead.
Right, business plan.
Always business plan this, business plan that. What's later? When are you going to buy a house? And I reached a point like the beginning of this year, like, oh my gosh, I need to look at what's in front of me.
Now.
I need to look at right now.
Yes.
What's going to happen today? Because what happens today could change, and the 5-year plan could go out the window.
Right.
So that's one big thing where I've taken a huge step back over the last 6 months to a year and just said, what matters today, but what matters in the short term?
Yes.
Because the short term is going to fix the long term. If you only look at the long term and only look at the long term,
You can't get there.
you can't get there because you're always fighting to get there, but there's no real start. So you can plan things out, and I have such a creative mind. I'm a musician. I write music. That's my medicine. I'm fascinated with movies.
Love
As
it.
I said before my time, 80s movies and Humphrey Bogart and Audrey Hepburn, and I'm fascinated with all of that. But I'm hopeful for the future. I'm hopeful. I'm excited for but when it comes to planning things that intense, it used to mess me up.
You can have a big picture view, but you have to have little short goals that you can reach and have success with. I was listening to someone recently that said that in order for you to achieve that big, long goal, you have to have little wins along the way. You have to have achievable goals that you can do to keep you motivated and keep you going, because if you're stretching for a 10-year goal, there's no way to find out if you're ever going to get there because it's too far. So I love that.
I'll admit, I've done it a couple times with
Well, you
Elevated
should
Shorts.
have a long goal,
like,
but a whole bunch of little goals.
Where do I get there? This is a good idea. I've visualized myself 5 years from now, and I hope to have this. But then I immediately like, all right, Andrew, you're 2 months into this. Like, let's get through next week. Let's get through this next project. Let's get through, what you want to do now.
Love it.
And not worry about what's going to happen later. So that's been a big thing for me recently, just personally with a lot of things in my life, is just looking at what's in front of you now and focusing on the little things to get to the big things later.
Great. Love it. My whole world is around financial planning. Financial business planning is my whole thing, and it's a whole bunch of strategies. This was perfect. Thank you so much for coming on the show. I really value you and the ideas, and I love to see a young entrepreneur getting going and seeing the excitement that you bring, and for an absolutely necessary part of every single business owner's life. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's been an absolute pleasure. And if anyone needs the video, they know where to find me now.
Yes, so will you repeat that for us? Where can they find you?
Oh, absolutely. So Andrew Lopez, you can find me on LinkedIn. My email is andrew@elevatedshorts.com. My cell phone number is 916-276-3038. Please let me know how I can be of value to you and help out in any way, whether that be with video, whether that be being on the show. I'm here to help. I'm here to learn. I'm here to learn about your business, and I'm here to help share that story out.
Perfect. Thank you. Well, we'll have all of Andrew's information on the podcast information. So I hope you found some value in today's show. I'm always looking to help you get more profitable, and I think having a video and a video brand and little shorts that you can use as marketing pieces is definitely going to help your profitability. Because as always I say, there's only really two things that you can do in your business to grow your business, increase your profits, and that's marketing and innovation. The rest is all just support. So I really think it's important to do this. So I wanted to say that you can always reach us on any of our social media, and again, it'll be on the podcast notes. So I can't wait for next week's show. If you do subscribe to this show, I have a great white paper. It's 3 hidden secrets to cash in your business right now. So if you reach out for that and you subscribe, we'll go ahead and send that off for you. And then one final thing, I'm really excited. I've got my new book coming out, and I'm on a speaking tour. My new book is Big Profit Secrets Exposed, and it's all of my tips and tricks that I use with my clients in my coaching and consulting, and I'd love to share it out with you. So hit me up if you want that. So I would love to see you on next week's show. We're going to have a great new conversation out there that will help you bring in more profits to your business. So looking forward to that. Thank you so much. Thank you, Andrew.
Thank you, Marcia.
All right,
Cheers.
cool. Thank you. Okay.
Bam.
Right on.
Solid.
That was great. And that was right around the half-hour mark.
Yep.
Yes!
37 minutes on that, but we
had a little forefront. We're off, so it'll be about 30, probably 35 minutes all in. Yay!
Got it all. Microphone got it all.
Love it.